Impactful message from Jannik Sinner after his victory against FILS. The world number one not only delivered a solid win, but also shared reflections that explain why he is dominating the tour. With a flawless 6-2, 6-4, Jannik Sinner reached his first final at the Mutua Madrid Open and analyzed his performance with a clarity that has not gone unnoticed. Jannik Sinner stepped onto the court with a clear idea: impose his rhythm from the very first point and give FILS no chance to react at any moment during the match played in Madrid. The Italian displayed a very solid version of himself, dominating rallies from the baseline and taking the initiative with aggressive and precise play. From the opening games, Sinner looked focused, without ups and downs, capable of maintaining a consistent level that allowed him to control the score with authority against an opponent who arrived in great form. After the match, Sinner explained that one of the keys was his ability to adapt to the conditions, especially in a first set marked by wind. Far from being uncomfortable, the Italian adjusted his game and found solutions at every moment. That match awareness was essential to maintaining his advantage. His message was clear: at this level, it is not enough to play well, you have to adapt quickly to any change, something he managed to do very effectively throughout the match against the Frenchman. Another aspect he highlighted was his performance on return, where he felt particularly comfortable for most of the match. This allowed him to constantly pressure FILS' serve and generate break opportunities. Thanks to that aggressiveness, he managed to destabilize his opponent and set the pace of the match. Even when the French player improved his serve in the second set, Sinner knew how to adjust his position and maintain intensity, preventing the match from becoming more complicated than necessary at a key moment. The Italian also wanted to acknowledge his opponent's level, recognizing that FILS is one of the most dangerous players on the tour right now. Far from diminishing his merit, he emphasized the importance of facing opponents of that caliber in order to keep improving. These kinds of statements reflect a very strong competitive mindset, where every match becomes an opportunity for growth. For Sinner, winning is important, but so is the level at which he competes, something he demonstrated again in this match. With naturalness, he summed up his performance by saying it was a very good day at the office, a phrase that reflects his professional approach on tour. Sinner treats each match as part of a process, without exaggerating results but without losing ambition. This mindset allows him to remain stable even in moments of maximum pressure. In a Masters 1000 semifinal, he showed a calmness that contrasts with the demands of the stage, making it clear why he currently holds the world number one ranking. He also made it clear that his goal is to keep playing his best tennis in every match, regardless of the opponent or round. This constant demand is what makes the difference in his performance. Against FILS, he showed himself to be a complete, solid player with confidence in every shot. There were no lapses or doubts, just a well-executed plan. That combination of tactical discipline and technical quality makes him an extremely difficult opponent in high-level matches on the professional circuit. As tournaments progress, Sinner explained that the level of difficulty increases and forces players to find a higher level in each round. According to him, the early stages are often more complicated than they seem, but in the final rounds everyone arrives with competitive rhythm. This means the difference comes down to small details. In his match against FILS, he knew how to take that step forward at the right moment, raising his level when required and maintaining control at key moments in the second set. The number one also referred to the match conditions, noting that they changed as the game went on. The wind in the first set forced both players to adjust their styles, while the second set was more stable. Sinner interpreted those variations better than his opponent, which ultimately proved decisive. In tournaments like Madrid, where altitude and weather play such an important role, this ability to adapt becomes a key advantage for those aiming to go all the way. Reaching the final of the Mutua Madrid Open has special meaning for the Italian, as he had never previously gone beyond the quarterfinals in this tournament. This step represents an important milestone in his career and confirms his development across different surfaces and conditions. Madrid was one of the remaining challenges for Sinner, and now he has overcome it convincingly. This achievement not only boosts his confidence, but also consolidates his position as the most consistent player on tour today. The support from the crowd at the Caja Mágica was another element highlighted by Sinner after his victory. He thanked the fans for their backing during the match, acknowledging that playing in that atmosphere is something special. Despite not being a local player, he managed to connect with the crowd, who responded with energy at key moments. This kind of support can influence performance, and the Italian knew how to use it to stay motivated. The connection with the crowd is often a factor that makes a difference in high-level matches. In his final analysis, he also acknowledged that the second set was more demanding due to FILS' improved serve. However, far from losing control, he remained firm and adjusted his game. This responsiveness is one of his greatest strengths. He doesn't just execute a plan, he modifies it according to what the match demands. That constant reading of the game is what allows him to compete so effectively in high-pressure scenarios on tour. Sinner left a clear message after his victory: the key lies in adapting, maintaining aggression, and continuing to improve in every match. It's not just about winning, but about constantly evolving. His performance in Madrid reflects that approach, combining solidity, intelligence, and ambition. With this level, he reaches the final as one of the big favorites, proving that his dominance on tour is no coincidence, but the result of consistent work and a top-level competitive mindset. The victory over FILS confirms Jannik Sinner's great form, not just because of the result, but because of how he interpreted the match and executed his strategy. His message makes it clear that adaptation and consistency are key to his success. Beyond the scoreline, Sinner shows that he is one step ahead mentally and tactically, establishing himself as the current reference in world tennis. If you want more sports content like this, subscribe and leave a comment with your opinion on Sinner's current level and whether you think he will win the final in Madrid. What happens when a player sends a direct message to his biggest rival without needing to name him? In Madrid, words are not always spoken out loud, but they are felt in every shot. Alexander Zverev has sent a clear warning to Jannik Sinner, and it has nothing to do with a single match. It is a statement of ambition, of power, and of being ready to challenge the Italian's dominance. Let's break down what this message really means. Zverev's run in Madrid is not being interpreted merely as a good streak of results, but as a statement of intent aimed directly at Jannik Sinner. Each victory by the German seems to carry an implicit message: he is ready to compete at the highest level against the player many consider the most in form on the tour. It's not just about advancing rounds, but about proving he can impose his game against any opponent. In this context, his performance becomes a form of silent yet extremely powerful communication. Unlike other moments in his career, Zverev now shows a more mature and calculated version of himself, aware that the challenge posed by Sinner requires more than just natural talent. This shift is no coincidence, but a direct response to the Italian's growth in recent months. The German understands that to compete with him, he needs consistency, aggression, and above all, unbreakable mental strength. This adjustment in his competitive approach is, in itself, a clear message: he has no intention of falling behind in the new hierarchy of world tennis. Zverev's message is not built on controversial statements or direct provocations, but on actions on the court that speak for themselves. In a circuit where every detail matters, his ability to dominate matches without cracks reflects a preparation specifically aimed at facing the best. Sinner, as the emerging leader, becomes the natural benchmark. That's why every solid performance from the German can be interpreted as a warning: he is fine-tuning his level with a very clear objective in mind at the Madrid tournament. There is also an important psychological component to these kinds of implicit messages between elite players. Zverev knows that Sinner is watching, analyzing, and taking note of everything happening in the tournament. Showing confidence, controlling the tempo, and avoiding moments of weakness not only helps him advance, but also sends signals of mental strength. In high-level matchups, these details can make all the difference. The German is building an image of solidity that seeks to create doubt even before a potential direct clash.